In this interview, you'll hear from Margaret the challenges of aging and her observations on how Singapore and other countries are preparing for that aging population. Hi, Margaret. Thanks for being here. Can you share with us what brought you to Singapore?
Hey, Chia. Yeah, of course. We came to Singapore because of my husband's job. He works for a multi-global company, and we had a chance to come to Singapore, which we decided we would do. And we really enjoyed it.
Sounds like you had a great experience living in Singapore. In your opinion, what are some challenges one faces when aging?
Gosh, getting older is not very easy. Your health is one of the first things that start to go, obviously. You kind of feel all the aches and pains. Your eyesight starts to go. We all need to wear glasses. You have a bit of weight gain. Becomes harder to lose that weight gain as well. We end up, there's a lot more diabetes, cardiovascular disease. It's quite difficult. And I think apart from that, there's also the mental and the emotional side of aging where your children are growing up and you don't have a job, so you're just at home. You kind of think, what's your purpose? What am I to do? Who am I kind of thing? Um, I think also as you get a lot older, a lot of your friends, you hear about friends passing away. So that kind of makes you start to think life's starting to get a bit short and, you need to make the most of it. As like you've gone to the top of the hill and you're coming down the other side now and won't be long before you're at the bottom, unfortunately.
There's quite a number of challenges that seniors have to deal with. Margaret, how well do you think Singapore has prepared as a country for the aging population?
Um, I think Singapore's doing okay. I mean, one of the things that I really liked was in the HDBs. You don't have ground floor units. You actually have open space, and in that open space, there's community centres. There's lots of common sitting areas, so anyone can just go down and sit down, and hopefully someone will come along and join you. I think that that's just a really lovely idea. There's also quite a few little exercise centres around those areas and even along parks and things like that. So, again, that's another good thing. Um, Something that I did notice on one of my walkabouts is there was a HDB estate and there's like nine buildings and it would have the block number up on each building, but it also had like a giant picture of something. It might have been a teacup, it might have been a satay stick, it could have been anything. But that's to help the older people. Like they might not remember which block number they're in, but they could remember the picture. So even like for people who are a bit forgetful, have a little bit of dementia, I thought that was really quite a good idea. Your footpaths are okay, but I must admit, I think in wet weather they're very slippery and they can be quite dangerous. And I know I fell over a couple of times while we were there, so I don't know how older people will cope with that. Another couple of things have come to mind. I think in Singapore, like you have the ability to employ helpers from, say, the Philippines or Indonesia. So those people live in, and obviously they're there to then also help care for the older people. A lot of Western countries don't really have that option. And another thing, like it's not just in Singapore, it's in a lot of countries, obviously, but mahjong, like everybody loves to play mahjong, and it's such a good thing, especially as you're getting older, because it's the thinking with your brain, it's using your hands, your fingers, but apart from that, it's also the companionship and the community, feel that you get of being with other people.
Margaret, prior to Singapore, I understand you have spent some time living in China. Is there any observation you have from Shanghai which you would like to share?
One of the things that I did like is they have lots of park areas, and you would quite often see older people just sitting there chatting. They'd be playing some games on tables. And one thing which was really sweet, I love to go and see of a night time. They would be doing ballroom dancing or just dancing with a big jukebox playing music. It was just so sweet to see. I mean, a great idea because your music is fantastic for people. It makes you feel alive. It makes you feel, that you're somebody. And it's exercise, it's meeting people, it's just having fun. So important.
Definitely, Margaret, I agree with you. Having fun is most important. Last question for you, Margaret. Based on the various experiences living in different parts of the world, if you were to choose a location to spend your senior years, where would it be and why?
I would always come back home to Australia. I mean, it's my home. It's familiar. It's where my family are. It's where my friends are. That I know the language. I know the food. Everything is just so familiar to me. Obviously, I would like to stay in my own home, and hopefully, if I'm fit enough and able enough, that's what I can do. The government is trying different things here where they're trying to make it that people you obviously pay, but people will come to your house, like if you can't bathe yourself or whatever, so someone will come every day and bathe you, or you can get meals delivered, or you can get someone to come and clean your house. So more and more the government here are trying to encourage people to stay in their own home where possible. I mean, obviously if you have dementia or a stroke, that's just impossible, and you do have to go to a nursing home, aged care home. um, I think, I mean, everyone's trying to do the best. I don't really remember much about what happened in Brussels, but I know that Asia, like the Asian culture is very much like the Middle Eastern culture and European culture, where you basically look after the elderly in your own home. Like there are some countries where nursing homes just don't exist at all. And I think it's better for the people if they're in their own home and in their own surroundings.